Oh, hello. I was perusing the latest issue of the review. My name is Cal, and this video is about the redundant failure of the movie Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 was certainly the least favorite of the three Spider-Man movies up to that time. Most people detested the dark Peter Parker who was corrupted by the black Spider-Man suit, and to display this corruption, he simply acted like a swanky Peter Parker. My criticism comes from the pervasive and overused plot point we find in many action and superhero movies. I like to call it All in the Family. It is where the main bad guy, the antagonist, has killed the mother or father of, or both, of the main good guy, the protagonist. This plot point goes all the way back to Shakespeare and Greco-Roman literature, but it gets way overused in Hollywood. Let me lay out the plethora of examples. At the end of the Tomb Raider movie, Lara Croft has a duel to the death with the leader of the group trying to acquire some powerful magical item, and its leader just so happened to have killed her father. This same movie ending scenario happened in the movie Gangs of New York. In the Harry Potter movies, Harry Potter needs to stop the evil wizard Voldemort, who is also responsible for the deaths of Harry's parents. In both Conan movies, the final scene has Conan killing the sorcerer who killed his parents in the opening sequence. The Guardians of the Galaxy should want to destroy the evil planet Ego because he is treacherous and committed mass murder. But that's not enough, so they added that Ego killed the mother of Star-Lord. In The Man of Steel, Zod kills Jor-El, so Kal-El must kill Zod. George Lucas kept changing it up. The first Star Wars movie started with the villain killing the hero's father, then warped it into the villain is your father, and then finally into the villain father killed the hero's mother. Who is Captain Kirk's father? No one knows, because I guess his father's not important to the story. But when they rebooted the Star Trek movie franchise, they made sure the main villain killed Kirk's father. The movie Princess Bride put such an emphasis on this revenge against my father's killer that it bordered on parody of the plot point. Comic books took this to a new level of egregiousness when they would break from the official versions in the comics in order to add this plot point. In the comic book origin of Batman, Bruce Wayne's parents are killed by a petty criminal. But in the movie, they switched it so that the younger version of Joker killed his parents. Rerun, in the comic book origin of Daredevil, his father is killed by an unremarkable mob hitman. But the movie switched this to a younger version of the Kingpin. So now we come to Spider-Man 3. With this movie, in order to add this plot point, they didn't just rewrite comic book history, which sometimes you have to do, they rewrote their own movie history. In the first Spider-Man movie, which fits the comic books, a nondescript thief runs by Peter Parker, who willingly lets the thief get away. Later, Peter would find out that this thief has shot and killed his father figure, Uncle Ben. However, in the third movie, they introduced the Sandman villain, and in order to ramp up drama, they rewrote history so that he killed Uncle Ben, not the thief from the first movie. This switcheroo just seems fake and poorly planned. If we look at the original Spider-Man comic books, we find a much more gripping and suspenseful story. Justice for the murder of Uncle Ben, which started in the first Spider-Man comic, comes to a gripping conclusion almost 20 years later. Spider-Man has lost his powers, and worst yet, he believes his beloved Aunt May is dead. And then, with Spider-Man's morale at its lowest, the thief who killed Uncle Ben is out of prison and looking for some money a dead mobster hid in Aunt May's house decades before. The thief has no superpowers, but he's ruthless and sadistic and will stop at nothing to find his treasure. A deranged criminal with nothing to lose is more threatening than a guy made out of sand. Then, surprisingly, the thief reveals that Aunt May hasn't died, and that he has kidnapped her, but she'll die if he does not get the hidden money. What happens next? Well, I guess you'll have to find a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 200 and read the ending yourself. Now, I know movies can't build a story in 90 minutes that took comic books 20 years in the making, but rewriting what happened in a previous movie to make a villain the murderer of the hero's father figure is contemptible. That is not how you create real drama. Well, you've heard my argument. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.